Okay, so good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. And I am your host and moderator, and my name is Adidotun. And I work as a data coach with Grande Analytics, the sponsor of this event. And at Grande Analytics, what we do is we help newbies to transition into tech. And also individuals that are already in tech, we help them to build future-proof careers. And we do that by trainings, partnerships, conferences, and forums such as this one. So we also offer mentorships. Actually, this is the first tech career forum for the year, and we've brought in some professionals to answer your questions. So we took your questions, we sent out a form, and we took all your questions and we've sent them to our professionals to answer those questions today. So they will be answering those questions. If you did not get to send your questions to us, kindly put them in the comment section. And just to let you know that this session is going to last for just 1 hour. So could this be the 1 hour that changes your life? Who knows? Fingers crossed. But let's make the most of the 1 hour. So I'm going to introduce our speakers. I believe they're already in the room. It would be nice for them to it would be nice for them to turn on their cameras when they are speaking, because there's an adage where I come from, and that adage says ojulorowa, meaning what does that mean now? Meaning the speech is in the eyes, or the conversation happens with sight. Yes, that's a better way of putting it. That's a better way of putting it. I'm just going to introduce our speakers, and we have Oluwakemi Akindele, who is a software engineer. Yes, Oluwakemi Akindele, she's a software engineer, and we have Michael Kende, is a business analyst. We have Mata Imo. She's a data analytics engineer, data analyst, data engineer. And we have Omokende Bekoyi, is an AI automation specialist. So I'm not going to say too much about them. I'm going to let them talk. I'm going to let them introduce themselves better. And so we would like to go first. I think if you guys can have your cameras on, that would be nice. Yes. And yeah, so that the speech can flow properly. Exactly. So, who would like to go first? Oluwakem, would you like to go first?
Okay, let me go first. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can you hear
Thank
me?
you. Yes, and we can see you.
Okay. My name is Oluwakemi Akindele. I'm a software engineer who is passionate about building scalable, user-friendly, and secure web applications. And over time, I've had experience building projects that has enhanced people's usability and performance enhancement. Aside that, I've also gained leadership experience through volunteer roles in different organizations. And outside of my career, I'm very passionate about personal development, focusing more on career growth and financial wellness. Also, I love to travel, swim, and have fun when it's necessary. I hope that's brief enough.
Yes, thank you, Luakemi. And I think I would just like to add that she also has a passion for helping people, especially people that want to transition into tech, because that was
Yeah.
one of the reasons that I think that's a shared passion between the both of us, wanting to help people carve their paths in tech, so then you don't stumble into an unknown territory. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for adding that.
Thank you, Luakemi. Thank you so much. Please don't turn off the camera. Okay, maybe ladies first. So I think I'll go with next. I'll go with Mata. Mata, she's here. I hope she can hear me, or maybe let me
Oh,
check.
hi, can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, let me just turn off my camera. I did not really plan to to on my camera, but just briefly, I will just put
Yes,
it
I'm sorry
on.
for putting you on the spot with the camera thing.
Oh, no, 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 it's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, so good evening everyone. I'm Martha Imo. I'm a data engineer and also a data analyst. Yeah, I started my journey into the data space as a data analyst. Then I transitioned into data engineering along the line. So I've been in this space for roughly 2 years so far, and it's been amazing. Yeah, so I currently work with a company which I founded, and I also freelance as a data analytics engineer. So yeah, basically that is that about me. I'm happy to be here with you guys, and I hope we get to learn something here.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you very much. And she also has a passion for helping newbies into tech. I saw that if you visit her LinkedIn page, you're going to see that all over. If you need help, reach out to me. Now, please don't bombard our page just yet. I'm just letting you know one of the reasons why she's here today is because that is our passion also, to help people transition into tech. And I believe that's key. And she will be answering some of your questions today, just like Uluwakemi. They will be answering a lot of those questions. The good, the bad, no, not bad. The good. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Martha. I think Kenny has his camera on. So the next person I will be calling on is Omokende Igbekoyi, and another of our speakers, and is an AI automation specialist. You know, the AI world is vast. So, and you just need to know what you're doing if you get into that space. So I'm just going to call on Omokende. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, my preferred name is Kenny. I'm a software engineer with over 11 years of experience. I code Ruby, Python, JavaScript, Flutter, and um, most recently I delved into AI and um, automation. So I work presently as an AI and automation specialist, where I build AI voice agents for inbound and outbound calls that make inbound and outbound calls. And I also build AI agents that are um, virtual assistants that can help do automations like helping receiving a call, helping making inbound and outbound calls, scheduling calls, and rescheduling as well. So like normal things that you have your like your secretaries or the people that sit at the office do is things that they are like robots or agents that I build to do those kind of things. So basically that's and I'll be talking about AI and automation basically here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Omakende. Thank you so much. It's in this era, it's great to have somebody in the AI field. You know, when people talk about AI, it's so vast, and you really do need people that have niched down and can tell you, okay, this is what you can do in the AI field. This is how you start. This is how you go about it, and all of that. So, thank you for joining us here. And our the last speaker will be Michael. So I'm going to call on Michael Kennedy. Yes, he's a business analyst, and he will be introducing himself. Thank you, Michael. The floor is yours. We can't hear you. Okay. No.
Yeah, what about now? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Brilliant.
Sorry for that. And is my video on too? I'm not sure.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay.
You're floating in
Uh,
space.
good evening, everyone. My name is Michael. Like she said, I'm a business analyst, but I like to be always very clear. I'm a functional business analyst. I hope we'll talk more about that later in the session. I I've been working in business analysis for the past 7 years now. I spent the bulk of my career in business analysis in the aviation industry and PC manufacturing. And I'm currently based in France. I just completed my advanced master's in digital strategy management. So uh, I'm the guy you call for business process alignment, business process definition, automations, RPA at some point. Also in terms of, so I just call us the middleman. We're the middleman of tech, or the middleman of tech. We are the guys in between tech and business. And also, I have my domain expertise in supply chain and on the interface of supply chain and finance. So we'll also talk more about that during the session. And I mean, those are the basics. If you'd like to know more, you can drop me a chat or something. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you, guys. And I believe that thank you for making the distinction, functional business analyst. So you're also going to tell us what other part of the business analysis exists because you have zoned it down to functional business analyst. But yeah, that's good. And thank you, guys. So before we commence, I think I'm just going to tell us some of from the forms that we filled. So if I'm looking to the side, it's because I'm trying to look at the records. So from the forms that were filled online, the roles or the careers that people would like to take on in tech, data analysis. Some people want to become, the highest was actually data analysis, data analyst, AI automation, business analysis, business analyst, data entry, digital creator, network analyst, software engineer, Web3 stroke AI, and somebody wrote still thinking. So we have that span of careers. And so I think without further ado, we just go into the questions. So I will ask some of the questions. I will ask the questions and I will say what the question belongs to. This question is for Mata. I think it's a data engineering stroke analyst question. And it says, as data and AI continue to evolve, how do you perceive the shift towards data engineering and data science? I think, yeah, and data science. So to be Mata and Oluwakemi, if she wants to speak to data science, do you see it as a necessary specialization, a competitive advantage, or a natural progression in the data field? Martha, I think that's your question.
Okay, so please can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Very clear.
Okay, then no problem. So personally, yeah, in my opinion, I think the shift towards data engineering and data science is both it's a necessary specialization and a natural progression. Yeah, because many data analysts these days they are either transitioning into data engineering, data science, and even machine learning. Yeah. And personally, I even feel like every career path in the data space they are related, and to succeed in any you need to know little about everything. You need to know something about, if you're a data analyst, you need to know about data engineering, about data science, yeah. Because as a data analyst, you need to understand how the data is being collected, how it's structured. It can be really helpful when it comes to analysis, yeah. And in the AI and machine learning space, models they heavily rely on high quality, well structured data, and the role of data engineers it has become very necessary in this space. Yeah, most AI companies are in need of data professionals, and even in businesses, yeah, collecting vast amount of data and without proper engineering, this data is as good as useless if they are not collecting data well, if they are not structuring it well, if they don't have a system that helps them in managing their data properly. Yeah, it's as good as useless. Yeah, so data engineering provides an advantage by ensuring data pipelines are robust, scalable, and efficient. Yeah, making it enabling data analysts to focus more on insights rather than spending time cleaning data and making data ready for analysis. You spend more time analyzing your data rather than cleaning. Yeah. So the increasing complexity of AI and big data solution makes the specialization essential rather than optional. So in my opinion, it is essential. Yeah. It's a necessary field that everybody in the data space, like eventually, I feel like unconsciously, yeah, we just need it. We just need this aspect in our career.
Okay, thank you. So it means that from data analysis, you can naturally progress into data engineering or data science. I think even
Yeah.
from your story, you started as a data analyst and you
Yeah, I
progressed
started as
into
a
yeah.
data analyst and moved to data engineering.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
even for myself, I started out as a data analyst, and then I said to myself, why do you want to remain as a data analyst? The cloud is big. Just explore and move
Really,
in. Yeah.
that's true.
So thank you. So I think the point is not to, yes, you can enter in as a data analyst, but I think you should prepare to migrate as the time goes on. You prepare to, move on because the tech industry moves really fast. I think that's one thing people should understand as well. And um the the desire to progress is always it should always be there. So yes, I believe she said that it's you just find yourself gravitating towards something at some point. And somebody said, "Can you briefly tell us what exactly a data engineer should know?" I think it's I don't know how you're going to answer that, but I'll leave you to answer it. Martha, can you briefly tell us what a data engineer should know?
Okay, so as a data engineer, yeah, you should know there are certain skills that you just need as a data engineer. Yeah, first the programming language. You need programming language. It's very necessary. Python, SQL, Scala, or Java for data processing. Yeah, this is very, very important. SQL is basic. So like for everyone that is just coming into data engineering as a newbie, focus on SQL, learn SQL. It's a good start for you. Then you can progress to Python. Yeah, personally, when I started my journey as a data engineer, I started with Python, not even SQL. In as much as SQL is easier than Python, yeah, I started with Python. Yeah, but if you're just starting out, just start with SQL, and then as you progress, you can start looking at Scala, Java. If your work needs it, then you can look at learning that too. But if it's not necessary, you could just focus on SQL, Python, and there are still other things that you need to look at, like data warehousing, using what's it called, tools like Snowflakes, BigQuery, Amazon Redshift. They are also necessary because a huge part of data has to do with storage, and this is where most data are being stored today. Yeah. Another important part which has to do with building pipelines, ETL, ELT pipelines. It's a very, very important aspect of data engineering, and you would design and implement and also optimize data workflows using tools like Apache Airflow, DBT, and Azure Data Factory. So I'm mentioning tools that you can use to carry out all of these tasks and things that you should focus on learning. Yeah, Apache Airflow, DBT, they are all useful tools that you would work with as a data engineer. Yeah, it's important and necessary for you to know how to work with all these tools. Then big data technologies like Adobe, Spark, Kafka, you would also need it because most companies now they are working with big data. Yeah, and they need data engineers that understands these technologies, that knows how to work with it. Yeah. So you would also need this as a data engineer, and cloud is very necessary because most companies are currently migrating to cloud. Yeah, they are moving their data from on-prem to cloud. So you need to, as a data engineer, you need to understand cloud, you need to know how to work with cloud, you need to know database management, you need to understand data governance and security, and finally you need to understand containerization and CI/CD, yeah, which has to do with Docker, Kubernetes, GitHub Actions, and all of that. Yeah, you'd look a bit into DevOps because it is very helpful for you in your career as a data engineer. So basically, these are just like the things you need to know if you want to become a data engineer, because these are the things you are going to be working with. These are the things companies need. So you need to know it too in order to work with a company as a data engineer. So I hope I answered your question.
Oh my God. I hope the person that asked the question is here, because if that's a whole lot of tools, but I mean, you said the truth. I think is the reason, if you're new to tech, is the reason you come in through data analysis and then you transition. You don't just jump into stuff, or you get a mentor that would hold your hand through the process. Yes, thank you. I think you nailed it. So somebody said, what is the key difference and similarities between data science and data engineering? Mata, what's the difference between data science and data engineering? And
Okay, data
Oluwakemi can
science
speak
and
to that.
data engineering, the key difference between the two. Okay, so for data engineers, yeah, data engineers, they work more with getting data ready. They work more with building data pipelines. The data scientists they work with, data engineers are the ones that get it ready. Yeah, while data science they have to do with building models, predictive model. They have to do with what will, okay, for example, let me create a scenario. For example, as a data scientist, your main focus is forecasting what will a business do, what is it like, looking into the future, predicting future sales, demand and all. You are building models. That is what you're going to do as a data scientist. But as a data engineer, you're going to work more with getting the data they are working with ready, collecting the data, building a system that stores and manage the data they are going to be working with.
Thank you very much. I believe we've answered the person's question. It was dropped in the comments. I think
Okay.
this next question will be for Oluwakemi, and it's Oluwakemi, please, what is a day in your life like? Somebody wants to know what it is to be a software engineer. So what is a day in your life like? I think where's she?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hmm. A day in my life as a software engineer. Well, most days can be challenging. Some days can be quite chill, and other days it can be a mix of both. So for me, a day in my life as a software engineer, aside attending meetings, which you always have to, you get to collaborate with teams in case if you want to build a new feature, um you need to basically collaborate with the product manager, the product designer to talk about that particular feature you want to build. Because at the end of the day, you don't just want to write code, you want to understand whatever feature you are building out, right? So you need to understand the whole scope of the project, and as well as factor in different edge cases. You want to understand other people's point of view. So yeah, that part of it. And aside meetings, I mean, jumping into code, writing code, you get to start coding, doing research. For some things, you might not necessarily know everything. That is where, can you guys hear me? Because it
Yeah,
seems my connection is low. I'm getting
we
a
can. No,
notification.
it's switching, but we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, okay. So aside writing code, you also need to do your research. In case you're not familiar with that particular solution you're trying to build out, you need to do your research, understand whatever you're researching. Also reviewing codes, actually, that's also part of my day-to-day. I mean, you review other people's code because sometimes you don't just want to just read your own code. You need to also review other people's code to understand how they are also solving a particular problem. It's very, very important. It's not just, there are different ways to solve a problem. So when you're reviewing people's code, you can offer a better solution. But as you're doing that, you're also trying to understand this person's perspective. I think that's basically it.
Okay, talking about codes, what
Mhm.
what frameworks, what programming languages and frameworks do you recommend for beginners?
Okay, before you jump into libraries and frameworks, I would say you should understand the basis of that programming language now. Take for instance, React.js. React.js is the library for JavaScript. So you can't just jump into React.js without understanding JavaScript because React.js is built on JavaScript. So you need to understand JavaScript. I'm just using that for instance, in case, yes, frameworks makes your life easier, but I'll still say you need the you need to understand the foundation before you jump into framework. So if you're a beginner, it depends on the programming language you actually learn. If it's JavaScript, I recommend React.js. Then I use JavaScript. That's why I'm kind of biased mentioning JavaScript. Yeah, if you're a backend developer, if you learn JavaScript, I'll recommend Node.js as well. Yeah.
So what you're saying now is for a beginner, they need to know core languages first, like
Exactly. Yes.
before you go into learning Node.js or
Frameworks and
React.
libraries.
Yes, know what it sits on, know the Java, understand
Exactly.
how it works. Okay, okay. So is it just Java that they
Exactly.
need to
Yeah.
know, or are there other programming languages?
Yeah, we have Python. I mean, if you want to go
Okay.
into AI, data science, Python is like the best go-to. Yeah. Then if it's mobile applications, we talk about Flutter and React Native. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And somebody said, what trends do you see shaping the future of software engineering?
Hmm. I'll still say AI, AI automation. I think Michael would, is it
Michael is,
Michael or
yeah.
Kenny?
No,
Yeah, I think
no,
Michael would,
Kenny.
is it
Kenny.
Kenny? Okay,
Yes,
okay.
Kenny is
I think Kenny would do a better,
job at
uh,
answering that.
exactly.
Kenny is ahead.
I know that AI tools cannot definitely replace developers. Like I see AI tools as, I take them as my assistants. Like I don't necessarily have to like do majority, but it's just like, okay, you are my assistant. Okay, help me do this, help me do this, help me do this, but not entirely giving AI my job.
Okay. Thank you
Sorry,
very
did you
much.
catch that?
Yes, we
All
did.
right.
Thank you. I think I will move to Kenny and I would maybe he should answer the question. Kenny, please, what trends do you see shaping the because um Oluwakemi sent this question back to you. She said you'll be in the best position to answer the trends you see shaping the future of software engineering because we see that you're already in the future. The question is, what trends do you see shaping the future of software engineering?
Then I mentioned
Please,
AI and automation.
yes, yes. Basically, yeah, I think she's absolutely correct. AI, but the thing is that it's not, because I've met some junior engineers that I'll tell them to go and learn a stack. They're going to tell me that no, they don't need to learn it. They're just going to use AI. I'll just be laughing. No, AI cannot. It can think, but it can only think based on the prompt that you give to it, and there's some kind of limitation to what it will be able to do as well. So it's still always good for you as a software engineer to know your craft, or at least know how, at least know about this basic software engineering, like architecture, and then patterns, design patterns, all of those, so that when you are having it like she said, when you're having it as your assistant, just like having an assistant now and then, you want to drink coffee and you don't know what to say. You just say, I want to drink, I want to drink. You can just go and bring Fanta, bring anything. It will not know what you want to do. But if you know specifically what you want, you can know how to generate the prompt. There's still the part of prompt engineering where you have to know the prompt and how to do it. And then you get those code. Sometimes it's messed up. You have to kind of look at how you want to put it together, or maybe regenerate, resend another prompt to it, and so it will know what to do. Number one, that makes your work a lot faster. For instance, a mobile application or a website that could have taken a year to develop, maybe you can do it in 2 months or 3 months or even less, because a lot of code that could have taken 1 week because of the AI assistant that you have. It's not going to now start knowing that maybe where you're supposed to put your file, or maybe in the place where you're supposed to use classes, and then you're trying to use function to optimize it. You need to know it first, and then you can ask it those questions and now know maybe you're supposed to use classes there, or you use functions, or you understand what I'm trying to say. Then you can now know how you are going to go about it. Either it's going to generate it for you, and then you look at it, and then you can put it together, so it makes your work faster. You understand what I'm trying to say? If there's something you're not clear about, you know, AI is like the search. You can just write in something you're unsure about, then it's going to bring all. It's just the way we do development before this AI thing came. You search. That's what development is about. Then you ability to be able to search is what makes you a good developer. You get, and then you search, and then you're able to read all the information that you need, and then you put it together to solve the problem. The goal is to be able to solve problems, and that AI is just there to assist you to make the problem solving faster. Not that you become lazy and you're not going to learn any skill again, and it's just going to put the person is going to fail, hopefully. But then it's going to make, I think it's going to make the demand to hire senior engineers to be more, except a junior engineer that is willing to really learn and embrace that AI. Because a software engineer, that someone that can learn really fast. They will still need to learn what the programming languages are, the key concept, the different paradigms, the different architectural patterns, and all of that. And then they now enhance it with the AI. The AI is like a senior engineer that can now just guide them, and then they can make progress quickly. Otherwise, if you think you're just going to be using AI, you're not going to perform on the job. One, two. If you think you're not going to embrace the AI, other people are doing it. If your work is taking 1 year, 1 month, 2 months, they already moved to the next task. They already moved to the next phase. So I think that's how it's going to shape it. The intermediate engineers and senior engineers are going to really get more job opportunities, but if the junior engineers are not lazy, if they are lazy and they don't want to learn, then they might, I don't know how to explain it, but the AI is here to stay. It's not going to replace software engineers the way I see it, but it's supposed to make our work very fast and efficient. That's
Thank you
just it.
very much. So, are you saying now that if somebody is a newbie and they want to get into software engineering and to progress into AI, they shouldn't bother at this point because there are enough people in the industry? I'm asking for a friend.
No, 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 no. The thing is that AI is another area on its own, and AI is very wide. That's why you have to find your own niche. Inside that niche, they see another niche there. Because if yes, so you have to find one spot, but it's always good to just have an idea, because I think I've done ML before. I've trained some model just to play around. I think sometimes maybe 6 years ago or 5 years ago, 7 years, I've forgotten. But I trained some from AI models to be able to recognize image. I use TensorFlow, some other frameworks like that to do the to train those models. But then it's something I just did for fun as an AI agent and as an AI and automation specialist. So far, I've not really had a reason to train any AI,
Hmm.
because all I'm doing is working on existing platform that maybe like Vapi, to set up those calls and to set up those AI agents that can make inbound and outbound calls, and then set up automations with Make. There are other lot of other automation platform that you can get where when something when the agent is talking to the user, a function can get triggered when a word is heard, and then that function can maybe put some information in some database, or modify something and the rest of it. So those are done with Make, and I don't really need to worry myself much about it. But then there are some times you need to maybe train your agent to be able to do some kind of thing, and then you need a lot of data, maybe the kind of prompt and the rest of it again. So there are a lot of platforms to do that. But then if you want to go into things like LLM and the rest of them, like refining and training model, that's another thing entirely. So but then it's just good to have a general idea about them and then find one space. Then later when the opportunities come, you have an open mind to continue to learn, because the aim of working is to make money and add value, right? And so sometimes maybe as an AI engineer, maybe you build AI agent, but you have an opportunity to, in another area, maybe to train some model or to refine some, to fine tune some model and the rest of it. You are not going to drop it, right? You have that open mindset to start learning, go to Udemy, get some courses, look at how it is done, look at the platforms and all of that. So
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think we can all agree on one thing. The foundation is very important. There's no point,
100%.
yes, there's no point building on a
There's no
terrible
shortcut.
foundation. No shortcuts. The foundation is very important. Thank you very much. And okay, I'm going to move over to Michael now. And Michael was the one that told me earlier today that all the majority of the big clubs are playing today. I didn't know that. I'm not I'm not I'm not somebody so much into football except when the hype is there, and maybe when France is playing and everybody say, "Oh, we are going somewhere to watch it," and I just want to go and shout. But I'm not so much of the of a football person. So I believe a lot of some people that would have been here are watching. Maybe they are watching the Premier League or whatever league is going on now. Michael, this question is yours. And I think I should start with a more personal one. It says, if you were starting over today as a business analyst, what would you do differently to advance faster or to advance in your career?
So it's quite interesting because coming into BA was not something like I planned. Like most people, like unlike the software developers and more technical guys, probably you started and said, you know what, I want to become a technical person, start learning languages and the likes. I transitioned into a BA role without even knowing initially, because I was working in a software company and then I was interfacing with developers. I was actually a business manager initially, and I started associating with developers and the guys that the code and everything. But I was actually doing the work of a BE without even knowing at that point in time. So it's until I moved into a more standardized role that I became a full-blown BE properly. So what would I change? I would say I don't really think there's anything much I would change because it's been quite interesting for me. The only thing I would say is if I had a choice, early on, I would probably be uh, in a more software-driven environment. So what I mean is like where you develop apps or develop software. Because where I started my own career in BA is from an enterprise resource planning standpoint. It's an already made product that exists, and then it's very robust. And then you now help organizations on how to use them properly. So if I had a choice, I probably would have loved to start from a software creation company, because that's why I told you initially there are two different types of Bs, ideally. So, but at the same time, I would still love to move into functional, become more techno-functional, ideally. So, so that's the difference. So that would have been the only thing that I would have to change actually.
So does it mean that instead of 7 years, you probably have spent maybe 2 years because this person wants to achieve your 7 years in 1 year?
Uh,
I don't know. I'm just
well, I wouldn't say the because the thing is that it's very easy for you to get stuck in one line if you are not careful. Because the more years that you build, the better. So that I would say it would have been nice to have that experience. It would have been nice, but that doesn't mean that what I'm doing right now is not fantastic, and that's why I've been there for like 7 years. So it's actually very fun. So if this is in relation to the person wanting to know how the person can actually get into the BA role, I would say the easiest way would be to join a company that produces software product.
Wow.
Because that's the easiest. That's the I say it's the easiest because that's the most common and available industry that you have. So, and why I say this is that you have so many companies that are producing so many softwares now. We have so many app development companies in the world, some startups and the likes. And then for you that you're just transitioning for the very first time, you can start with that, with your basic tech skills like SQL and the likes. You can start with basic things like that and some basic wireframe ideas like VCU, UML, and BPMN, whatever, and then you can start with that. And because you are working on a very small product, then you can gradually evolve in that place. Unlike where I started from, which is I was just lucky to start from there. It's a very form of robust industry whereby you don't have so many of them. We don't have so many ELP companies that exist in the world, and so you might not necessarily be able to break into that industry quickly like I was able to do. And so the easiest way is from the product area.
Wow. Thank you. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys are dropping so many gems tonight, and yes, everyone is just I'm blown away. So, and somebody asked, what certifications, if any, would you recommend for someone starting out?
Okay. So like I said, for someone starting out, if you started from the once again, I'm back to the industry. If you started from the product industry, like a product company, the first one I did, which even though I was not in the industry, was the Agile certification as a Scrum product owner. You can get that in so many places. Some people do SAFe. So we call them agile methodologies. We have Scrum, and then we have SAFe and the likes to and the likes. So it depends. Most companies use Scrum that I've seen. So you could start with as a Scrum product owner, get one, and then you could later on get certifications as a Scrum master. The developers too. I mean, some people they work. It depends. Like I said again, it's on a product team. If you design product, you can start with that and then gradually evolve into what we call the CPAB, and then we have the ISAB. I think there is this IBAB or ISIBAB. So we have an institute of business analysis called IIBA, the head office is the UK. So it's a recognized body for business analysts, and then you can start from the early stages of certifications, and then you get to the final. I think it's like a three-level certification, and then you start from the entry level one, but they're quite expensive, and so those are the type of certifications you can do uh, along the line. But the easiest to start with, if you're in a product company, get the Scrum Product Owner certification. It will be quite good to
Thank
start.
you. And you mentioned something about SQL. So somebody asked,
Yeah.
is what is the difference between a business analyst and a data analyst?
Yeah.
Or is it a collabo situation?
Actually, it's not a collabo, but in a startup, it can be a collabo.
Oh,
So it's that's why I said it depends on the company you start with. It could help if the good thing about working in startup is that it gives you the flexibility to learn a lot, like to do a lot of things, but at the same time it could be stressed out. But if you work in a standard organization, you don't mix the roles. There's a business analyst separately and there's a data analyst separately. And so I would say the major difference is that the data analyst is more technical than the BA. The data analyst is the guy that plays with the data a lot. So they have more technical skills. Some of them like SQL, Python, some other like R language, which is good for statistics also. Some do some other bits of advanced machine learning, especially if you're in an industry like supply chain, where you have to predict uh, data and forecast. Like I think someone mentioned, Mata mentioned it earlier. So data analysts to also do that at times, and then they use visualization tools like Power BI, Tableau, and a couple of other tools like QLeak and the likes. But from a BA's perspective, so the BA does a little bit of uses some of these tools. So the reason why you use SQL, for example, is that the role of a BA is it's about process alignment, it's about helping the organization become better. And one of the best to make an organization become better is the ability to derive insight from data. And so sometimes you have to query data in a way that you can be able to make sense out of it. And that's why sometimes you as a BA, you tend to do that. So if you work in an organization that is very robust and they have a standardized data architecture or system administration, they don't even allow you to use the SQL, to be honest. So you don't go and mess up the database. And so they already have the guys that give you the data. You just tell them what you want, or you can go and extract it from sub layers of databases that they have. So you can query what you want. And the reason why you have to have those SQL keys is because a lot of times the tech guys are just tech,
Mm.
but the business analyst, and that's what we were talking about earlier, that you have to have a domain of expertise. So for me now, like I said, I'm in supply chain and a bit of finance. So there's a type of data I'm looking for that a data analyst might not be able to look for. So my own job is to bring out business insights from data. So because I understand the business perfectly well, I'm able to think outside the box and say, okay, this is the type of data that is relevant to me. So I can have a table that has so many columns and so many rows and so much information, but not every information is relevant for me. So I'm the one that knows, okay, if I combine these two tables or if I piece this information, it can actually give me something. And so after getting that data, the next tool you definitely want to use is something like a visualization tool like Power BI and Tableau, depending on what your organization uses. And then you plot it and make sense out of the data. So data analysts also do this job too. They help to create dashboards and a lot of things. But it's quite interesting because it depends on the part of the world that you are.
Mm.
And I think for people that are in Nigeria, if you're a data analyst right now, I would advise that the earlier the better you start to get a domain of experience in a business area. Because it's becoming, if you are in Europe or in the Western world, they don't just want tech guys anymore, especially if you're working in good organizations. They want you to understand the business. So what I mean is, for example, if you're working in firms like PwC, KPMG, and co, the guys are into finance, or let's say the banking industry. They don't just want you to know how to use SQL and Python alone and to create dashboards. They want you to understand finance because they would rather employ someone that is a graduate of finance and has a little bit skills in data analysis who can keep learning on the job than you that are very, very technical that doesn't even understand what finance is talking about.
Mm.
And there's a reason why they do that because when you are presenting the skills, and that's where the BA comes into place again. So, but some organizations like to match them together at times. So they want you to be able to speak the language of the business. So if you are working in a supply chain company, they expect someone that is very versatile in supply chain. If you are working in an engineering company like oil and gas, they want somebody with an engineering background that understands engineering operations and the likes. So you don't just talk about data, these numbers alone. You are making it make sense because you are dealing with management, and the management only talks about the business. They don't care. They don't know the technical things that you deal with. Among your technical folks is fine, but at the management level, it's what it is. So that's just what I'm going to say. Like, so data analysts are more technical. They are the ones that play with data a lot. The BA guys are more business oriented. They only go into data to make sense of data so that they can use it to advise the business. Data analyst is the one that does the job of creating the dashboards. Sometimes, like I said, in an organization, data analyst does all the job. He creates the dashboard, and then the BA just goes there, looks through the BI or Tableau and says, okay, you know what, from this, if I plot this against this, okay, this is what it means. And then it goes back into the business, makes sense out of it, and provides a recommendation. So you see the difference in the two. So I hope I was able to answer that question.
Oh, yes. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, because I think you hammered really well on the domain knowledge. No more
Mm.
isolation. Okay, I have the skills. What domain can you apply the skills to? And you made the distinction between a data analyst and a business analyst. Even data analyst these days, if you have a domain knowledge, it even
Yeah.
gives you
Yeah,
more
it's
edge.
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's better actually.
So yes, I think you did answer that very well. You also answered another one where somebody said, "What do you offer in terms of skill development, networking, and market positioning?" I think you also nailed that with the domain knowledge because obviously, and you
Yeah,
should have business. Yeah,
and to for I forgot to mention that. So for those that are starting, if you are trying to get into the BA industry, so one of the first way to get into BA is from your domain of expertise. So what I mean is that depending on what you studied in your bachelor's, obviously. So I I studied mechanical engineering, and because I did my internship in aviation, so naturally the first company that I moved into the BA world was full BA world was a software company that provides for the ERP for the aviation industry. Those kind of BA roles, they would never employ someone that is a computer science graduate.
hmm,
There's a reason why they do that. And so the same thing if you are going into somewhere like SAP or Microsoft Dynamics, for example, and they want to employ a BA to in that in for their ERP, as long as it's going to be a finance ERP person, then they will employ someone that has an accounting background, for example, or a management control background. So you see how it is now. So even within the ERP space as a business analyst, you have your specialization. And so because I of my mechanical engineering background, I was easy for me to transition into supply chain naturally and some bit of manager or like a mechanical or engineering perspective. So it's different from different folks. So if you have a background in finance, or let's say you have a background in human sciences, which is also a big deal, life sciences like biology and the
farmer.
likes, yeah, pharma, you could get into a pharmaceutical company and be a BA there.
Beautiful.
So depending on what you have as a background, look for an industry that fits your background and then gradually evolve into a BA within the industry. You can apply for associate business analyst roles as long as you have the knowledge about requirement gathering and how to use some basic tools, then you gradually go from there. So that's the
Thank
point out
you.
there.
Thank you very much. I think you've also touched on the person that mentioned how do I diversify from being an accountant to a business analyst? Of course,
Oh, yeah, I
domain
think that was,
knowledge.
yeah,
And
exactly.
somebody did ask about business from ideation. I think that is a whole textbook. That's not going to happen this
That's that's a business class.
That's a business class by itself. That person needs to email me and then we can set up a business class, just yourself and Michael here. Both of you will have a tete-a-tete because that's a whole class by
That's a
itself.
business class.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Michael. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. And I'm going to move to Omokende. So I think the question here is how important is cloud computing knowledge in AI automation? Can you hear me? How important is cloud computing knowledge in AI automation? You are muted. Oh,
About that. I didn't know I was muted.
okay, yes, okay. So the person asks,
So the question,
yeah. Did you hear the question?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, it's how important is cloud computing knowledge, like the GCP, AWS, and Azure, in automation?
Okay, that's how important the
Is cloud computing knowledge. Cloud computing, AWS, Amazon Web Services, Azure, and GCP, Google Cloud. Is it important for AI automation? Is there a need to
yes,
know it?
yes. There's a need to know it because everybody is moving to the cloud. It's very very important. AI workloads require very scalable computing power, like very powerful computer. So most of the time, it's is not really what you can do on your local machine, and even when you do it, you have to put it to the cloud somewhere. So cloud platforms, you have to put it in cloud platform providers. For instance, you have model deployment. and hosting your AI models via AWS, via SageMakers, and via Azure ML or Google Vertex AI. So you have to choose one of them, but and try to understand one. And then there's serverless automation that runs AI stacks effectively using Lambda, um, Firebase, or Azure functions. So, and then you have data storage and processing. Their AI relies heavily on data, on big data to be precise, and cloud services that can manage it seamlessly. So, even if you are so basically even if you are not really good at what's it called, you're really good um, at writing code, but it's also still very important to be able to at least know Python. You might not, but then it's important to understand how the cloud works, most especially. And the three cloud platforms that I think are very key are AWS, Azure, and GCP. Then for starters, you can just pick one of it. I think I don't know between AWS and GCP which one is more popular. But the thing about AWS is that it has some free tiers that you can leverage on, that can help you to quickly get up to speed. But AWS, GCP, and Azure, but AWS, then maybe GCP are cloud platforms that cloud computing platform that any aspiring software developer, AI engineers should be looking at. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the market leader is AWS, followed by Azure and then
Definitely.
GCP. Yes. But I think in terms of free tiers, AWS and GCP are nicer than Azure. They are nicer than Azure. So I'm going to go to Oluwakemi, and I think the question is, so we'll be rounding up in a bit, and these are just like the last questions. Um, Somebody asked, how valuable are coding boot camps compared to a traditional computer science degree? And how valuable are boot camps compared to a traditional computer science degree?
Hmm. Okay, so I will talk from personal experience, right? A computer science graduate, and I would definitely say having a computer science degree is more valuable because studying computer science as a whole, you're going to um gain knowledge from different aspects. But for boot camps, I feel like you're just going to focus on a particular niche, because if you attend a boot camp for, let's say, web development, and there's also AI there, you can't be doing both at the same time. But if you go to a college and you say you want to study computer science, generally it's like, I mean, it took me 5 years, but boot camps will not take you 5 years. So I still think having a computer science degree is more valuable. And I'm not saying boot camps are not valuable, but then I feel like if you have a computer science degree and you went through the process, like you went through school did not go through you, you have valuable knowledge rather than boot camps. I mean, boot camps is just, I can still attend a boot camp, to be honest, because probably I just want to just I think boot camps, like what I can gain in boot camps, I can also gain it on YouTube, to be honest. But it's just that in the boot camp, I'll just have practical experience, right? So, but for schools, like if you're in college and you're studying computer science, you have knowledge on networking, data structures and algorithm, programming languages, different aspects, to be honest. So I still think having a computer science degree is more valuable, but still, boot camps are still very much okay as well.
Okay, so speaking of
So
that, what?
basically, CS will just give you,
Go on,
sorry,
go on, go
I
on.
said CS will just give you a understanding of different aspects.
So, thank you. So basically, what courses does one need to begin their journey in software engineering? I know you've made the distinction between boot camps, but some people have already been through school. They can't go back to read computer science. So they want to know what courses they can do to begin their journey into software engineering.
Okay, so it depends on what you want, and it depends on what you want to actually focus on. So start by learning a programming language. So we have Python, we have Java, we have C++. You need to learn at least a programming language, and I would recommend Python because it's beginner friendly. Then from learning a programming language, you can move to data structures and algorithm, right? Then you can now pick a particular niche, let's say web development. Now, if you want to go into web development, you have to learn the required technology for web development. That's HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Those are the base. Then if you want to focus in web development, you focus on front end or back end. So if front end, you have to start learning the frameworks, that's React JS and all of that. Then for backend, you know JS, that's the framework. So yeah.
Thank
Then
you
if you
very
want
much.
to learn mobile application, then Flutter and maybe React Native, either of those.
Thank you very much, Oluwakemi. Thank you so much. This network is dealing with us, but we got you clearly. Thank you, and we've answered that. So,
God, I'm serious.
no. We had everything. It was glitchy, but it was clear. You don't have to worry about that. We got the response. Thank you so much. I'm going to move to Martha. So we are rounding up now, and I think the question for Martha is this, how does the role of a data engineer in Fabric differ from traditional data engineering in Azure? I don't know if this person is a data engineer already, but the question was asked.
Okay, so basically, yeah, Microsoft Fabric it brings all data service together. Yeah, it brings everything into a single software as a service platform. Yeah, while your traditional Azure data engineering relies on separate services. So when you're working with Microsoft Fabric, all the tools are together, like you have everything in a unified system. Yeah, for example, yeah, but the traditional Azure data engineering, you have to use the tools separately, and some of the like differences between the two is, okay, one unified system for the Microsoft Fabric, you have everything together, but traditional data engineering, they're like separate. You have to take it separately and work with it. Yeah, and then the next one, I think we also have lakehouse architecture. Yeah, we also have no code and low code. Fabric, they offer simplified experience with built-in governance and automation, reducing the need for extensive coding in ETL. So you don't need to code much when you're working with Microsoft Fabric. We have real-time processing. So basically, Microsoft Fabric, it integrates data engineering, analytics, and AI together. It brings everything together, and you don't have to use separate tools to work on it. Yes, I think that's like the difference between working with Microsoft Fabric and traditional data engineering in Azure. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you very much. Yes, you did. And what learning path would you recommend for someone transitioning from Power BI development to data engineering in Fabric?
Because the person should master SQL and data modeling, very necessary. The person needs to understand the Azure data ecosystem. He needs to become familiar with the Azure data ecosystem, how it works. The person should learn about data Azure Data Factory, Data Lake. The person should also learn Python for data engineering, because trust me, you would work with Python a lot when it comes to automation and all of that. You will do a lot of work with Python. Yeah, that's like one of our go-to tool, one tool that we use. Make Python your best friend. Yeah, because most things you are going to be doing, most pipelines you are going to be building, most data platforms you're going to be building would rely heavily on Python. Yeah, so you need to learn Python. You just explore Microsoft Fabric as a whole, yeah, the Lakehouse, the One Lake, real-time analytics in Fabric, explore it, get used to it. Yeah, and lastly, which is also important, certifications. Yeah, get certifications, get Microsoft certifications like the Azure Data Engineering Associate, and you would find a lot of Fabric related certification on Microsoft. You could go to their learning, Microsoft Learn, yeah, and you would see a lot of certification. You'd even find courses that would help you transition fully into data engineering with Microsoft Fabric.
Thank you. So somebody asked which data analytics is best for future climate modeling. I don't know. They just
Which
asked.
data analytics
Analytics
is
is best for future climate modeling. I'm just the moderator, so
okay? So this is going to be a little bit complex. Yeah, it requires a lot of advanced analytics. Person needs advanced analytics. Like you need to be familiar with big data analytics. Yeah, you need to be familiar with machine learning and AI because you would need it for it. You need cloud-based solution. You need to be familiar with cloud platforms. Yeah, because you're going to be leveraging cloud platforms to do this. You need statistical and predictive modeling. These are just like tools that you need to get familiar with and work with. Yeah, so the person should go and make more research on how you can use these tools for it, how you can use machine learning and AI, big data tools, how you can use cloud platforms, how you can use statistical and predictive modeling to carry out these tasks. Yeah, so I think that is my advice for the person. Make research on this and use it to work on your project.
thank you very much. One last word, Martha. One last word for anyone
Okay.
that wants to transition into data analysis or into the data world or into the tech world. One last word for them.
Okay, so if you're a newbie, if you're a beginner coming into data engineering, don't be scared. Yeah, don't be scared because I know at first you might almost get discouraged when you just come in and you start saying, "No, I need to learn this, I need to learn Python, I need to learn SQL. Python is hard, cloud is hard, and all of that." Yeah, don't be scared. In the end, it's worth it. Yeah, you're going to love it in the end. Data engineering is one field I did not really see myself moving into. Yeah, because as we all know, I started with data analysis and gradually I just fell in love with data engineering. So I'm sure you are definitely going to fall in love with it. And my last word of advice, which I always give to most people, yeah, is as you're learning, try as much as possible to avoid AI. Yeah, don't work with AI. Learn normally. Watch tutorials, work on projects, and try not to rely on AI. Yeah, AI is a very useful tool, trust me, very, very useful. And it will still come in, it will still help you. Yeah, but at that beginning, when you're just starting out and learning, don't use AI. Yeah, learn naturally and understand the process. Then as you become better and then you start working on projects, as I think Kenny rightly said, you can now use AI as your assistant. And when you're working on projects, if maybe you just need help with something, you can easily go to AI. But when you are learning, please avoid AI. It would really help you. Yeah. If you are learning and you focus on AI, it will do you more harm than good. But if you're learning and you focus on learning and knowing it very well, and then along the line you can now add AI, it's perfect and you would enjoy the ride. So I think that's my last word for anyone looking to transition into tech. Definitely not just even data engineering, any tech field. Yeah, don't start with AI. Start normally. Let's go back to the traditional way we used to learn when we go through boot camp, we read, we watch, and all of that. Yeah. So that's my advice for anyone looking to transition into tech and data engineering.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
You're
Martha.
welcome.
Oluwakemi, one last word for people that want to transition into tech.
Okay. I had to put off my video because of my network.
That's fine.
Okay, so I would say you should have a why. Like, why do you want to transition into tech? Because to be honest, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. It's not easy. And I'm not going to guarantee that it's going to be easy. So your why would help you along the line. Have your why and explore, because you can start with product management and you feel like it's not something you would enjoy doing. You can also explore other options. Don't just stick to one and force it. If it's not working, it's not working. Explore other options till you find what you feel you're comfortable with and you enjoy learning, because you need to also enjoy the process. So yeah, that's what. And also focus on the foundation as well. In as much as, yeah, we have libraries, we have frameworks, those things are built on foundation. So you need to have your foundation solid so that you can better understand those frameworks and libraries. And also networking. Networking is very important in the tech industry. You need to like network and also have mentors that can also um basically share their practical experiences with you so that you don't make the same mistakes they made. So yeah, I think that's it from my end.
Thank you, Luakemi. Thank you so much. Omo one last word for those that want to transition into tech. I know you've given us some words you want them not to rely on AI. So yes, if you're still yeah, one last word.
Yeah, one last word is that you should not you should go through the process, try to learn, like she said, tutorials, books, and all of those good stuffs. And is the learning is not all that difficult. I think I learned Ruby in a week, in 5 days, and I learned Ruby's Sinatra in another 5 days, and I was able to build a crude full stack application with Ruby on Rails and ERB template. And I'm talking about 10 years ago now, when I was still very, like, in terms of knowledge, very little knowledge. So it's very possible. It's just the number of hours that you can commit and the dedication. And like you said, why are you going into tech? You understand? It's something that you have to be passionate about first, and then something that, for instance, I was learning it first as an hobby, just to pass time, but I discovered that it's something that was really in me, that I really wanted to do, and I had to shift my career to focus on it, my mechanical engineering career to focus on it. So, and I'm grateful for it because I'm always very happy, and the satisfaction that I feel when I solve problems. So that why should be there, the purpose should be there, and then the you should keep going, not just looking at AI and then going to, and then you don't necessarily have to need to have a degree. In case you don't have a degree, don't be discouraged. I've met a lot of developers that didn't even go to the university, and they are very good developers. It depends on how you can develop yourself, right? But then if you are still in the process of going to the university and you have a science background, it's always good for you to just go and study computer science. It makes a lot of things easy, because even up till now, some companies still follow the old traditional way of hiring computer science graduates or computer engineering graduate or systems engineering graduate. So if you have the opportunity, but then if you're already a graduate, there's still a lot of opportunity for you. If you didn't go to the university as well, and maybe because of finances and a lot of things, there's still a lot of opportunity for you. So that's just all from my own end here.
Thank you very
Happy,
much. Thank you,
happy.
Martin.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
Michael, one last word before we call it a day, call it a night.
Yeah, so I would say for me, like I said earlier, depends on where you are at the moment, your background. Be passionate about wanting to help customers or people use tech efficiently, because that's the real job of a BA, helping them to maximize the use of a software or maximize the use of a technology. Be passionate about the customer experience. See technology as a tool to achieve this desired results. Be analytical in thinking. Be someone that if you are not used to it now, start to look at things from the big picture, being able to spot patterns, be able to analyze things from end to end, not just one picture, see the full picture, and be able to connect the dots. Like I said, we are the middlemen, business analysts are the middlemen between the business team and the technological team. You speak to the customers, you understand their pains, you understand what they want, and then you're able to speak with the developers, because then you understand the language and they understand also. So you need to be able to communicate effectively well with both sides. The biggest skill of a BA is communication. I know it sounds like the most random skill or basic one, but trust me, it's not basic. Because the very first stage of anything you do in BA is what we call requirement analysis. You are gauging the needs of the customer. And trust me, that job is very hard. Some people don't even know what they want. It might look so simple as I want you to design a product for me. It looks simple, but it's the job of a BA to make sure that you ask the right questions, you figure out the right way to handle it, and then at the end of the day, you ensure that you deliver a functional or super product. So those are my 2 cents. And if you want to reach out to me after that, you can always reach me on LinkedIn for more questions. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much to all our speakers. They are on LinkedIn. Would upload this video for those that would want to rewatch. I definitely would rewatch the videos, even if I've been taking I've been taking down notes, but man, there's been a lot of nuggets dropped here today, a lot of knowledge, a lot of advice and all of that. So would upload the video and you guys can watch it on YouTube, but we'll also put their links up everywhere so then you can stalk them on LinkedIn. And if you need you can reach out to them. Please also give them time to respond because they are busy. There are people with full-time jobs. So, and they are also busy, but they are always ready to help. Please, can you guys just help me appreciate appreciate them in the chat section, appreciate them with an emoji, our speakers and all of that. Appreciate them. Thank you so much. Thank you, Omokende. Thank you, Luakemi. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Michael. And it should be known that they were approached on short notice. So on short notice, and they still give their time to come to speak to you guys. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having you back at some point in the future. But I personally enjoyed this and um, grateful for the opportunity to have every one of you here to, share your experience, share your knowledge with us, and also to help the newbies that are coming into the industry and those that are already in the industry that want to pivot to new levels. So thank you so much. I think if we don't have any other questions, and I know they've dropped some messages in the chat. Thank you very much. People have said thank you, and all of that. So you can follow Grand Analytics on LinkedIn. We'll have all their information up there and the links and the videos and all of that. We'll have everything up there, and you can click and check them out on LinkedIn as well. Thank you, guys. So this is where we drop the curtain for tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, guys. So we call it a night.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. I will. Thank you. Somebody do it anyway.